A very big hello to each one of you. This presentation is about the 10 points related to neurobiotaxis. The cross-section of pons shows two distinct areas, a large anterior part called the basilar part and a small posterior or dorsal area that's called tegmentum. The basilar part shows corticopontine fibers, corticonuclear fibers, corticospinal fibers, as well as pontine nuclei. Whereas in the tegmentum, we'll have the ascending tracts, descending tracts, and the nuclei of cranial nerve. The tegmentum of lower pons shows the nuclei of 5th, 6th, and 7th cranial nerve. The spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve pointed out here, it receives the afferent fibers carrying the sensation of pain and temperature from face. In the dorsal part of the tegmentum, just lateral to the midline is the abducent nerve nucleus. The efferent fibers from this nucleus will innervate the lateral rectus muscle. Ventrolateral to the abducent nerve nucleus and medial to the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. The efferent fibers from this nucleus will innervate the muscles of face. In the initial stages of the development of embryo, the motor nucleus of the facial nerve, it is found to lie dorsolateral to the cranial aspect of abducent nerve nucleus. Later, something interesting happens. This motor nucleus of the facial nerve that was dorsolateral to the cranial aspect of the abducent nerve nucleus, it starts to move. Yes, it migrates caudally along the dorsal aspect of the abducent nerve nucleus. It continues to move medially, comes anterior, and then lateral to the abducent nerve nucleus. To reach its final position, ventrolateral to the abducent nerve nucleus and medial to the spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. This important phenomena is called neurobiotaxis. The movement of the motor nucleus of the facial nerve around the abducent nerve nucleus to reach in close proximity with the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve is called neurobiotaxis. Why this has to happen? We know that the afferent sensation from the face is received by the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, and the motor innervation to the muscles of the face is from the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. The topographical position of these two nuclei in close proximity with each other is essential to establish quicker reflex responses. The intrapontine pose of facial nerve is equally interesting and it is related to neurobiotaxis. We can see that the fibers from the abducent nerve nucleus, they pose straight out of the pons, whereas the fibers emerging from the motor nucleus of the facial nerve, they go posteromedially. On reaching the medial aspect of the abducent nucleus, they start to ascend along its dorsal aspect, and on reaching the cranial end of the abducent nucleus, they curve around it, and finally the fibers, they move forwards laterally between the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and the motor nucleus of the facial nerve to exit out of the pons. This course of the facial nerve fibers looping around the cranial end of the abducent nerve nucleus, it creates the internal genu of facial nerve within the pons. The elevation produced by the internal genu that you see here is called the facial colliculus. The facial colliculus has two components, the abducent nucleus and the facial nerve fibers winding around the abducent nucleus. This elevation can be seen prominently in the upper part of the floor of the fourth ventricle. Facial colliculus syndrome results due to damage to the abducent nerve nucleus or the facial nerve fibers winding around it. This will result in paralysis of lateral rectus, leading to internal squint. Damage to the facial nerve fibers will result in Bell's palsy, and the patient will complain of diplopia, facial drooping.